Good morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with NETGEAR. Today's host is Jordan Cooper. He is their Commercial Territory Account Manager for California, Texas, and Hawaii, and he will be presenting today. If anyone has any questions, please submit them in the question box, and Jordan will answer them at the end of today's presentation. Jordan, thank you so much for being with us today. I am finished for now. Please go ahead and take it on over.
Awesome. Great. Thanks so much, Julie. Appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone is having a great hump day, great Wednesday, and I hope you and your family and loved ones and friends are all staying safe during these crazy times and hopefully are getting out of the house a little bit, taking proper precautions, but getting some of that fresh air. I know a lot of everyone are feeling some cabin fever. So like Julie said, my name is Jordan Cooper. I am the Territory Account Manager for California, Texas, and Hawaii. And I have on the line with myself, I have Rich Allgood. He is an engineer with NETGEAR, and he is going to be chiming in as I give this presentation and go through as he sees fit. After the end of the presentation, we will then go ahead and open it up to questions, which he will be probably answering most, if not all, those questions. So if you had the wonderful pleasure of joining my last webinar that I did, any of those who are returning, welcome back. If those who aren't returning, don't worry, we'll catch you back up to what we did last time. But this kind of ties in with what we talked about last time. Last time subject was talking about Wi-Fi 6 and riding this Wi-Fi 6 wave. And the takeaway from that presentation was really knowing when was the right time to switch over from your standard, wireless 5 or Wi-Fi 5 or the 8 dual band AC over to Wi-Fi 6 as this technology progressed. When is that timing? And towards at the very end, in simple, short answer is, the answer was when to time it. It's when NETGEAR decides to release it. And it was very important that it's NETGEAR because NETGEAR is watching the market. There are, as some of you may know, there are already a lot of companies out there that are offering Wi-Fi 6 for businesses. And they, for whatever reason, felt that they needed to release that early, maybe to be the first or maybe to say that they've done it. But what's more important to NETGEAR is making sure that the customers out there and everyone who buys NETGEAR buys it at a good timing, at a good price, instead of overpaying, and really is able to utilize the best and the most benefits. So that was a couple months ago. So fast forward to now, that timing has gotten even closer, and we will kind of talk about that at the end. So, but let's kind of kick into it. In case you weren't here last time, let's talk about, I'm going to go through the presentation of what are the needs right now that small to medium businesses or the SMB customers are needing and wanting. We're going to go over how Wi-Fi 6 can fix a lot of that, what it is and what it's capable of doing, what makes it different. And then we're going to talk about something very unique. We call it NETGEAR's Wi-Fi 6. And we'll talk about why we call it NETGEAR's Wi-Fi 6 rather than just standard Wi-Fi 6. So as we get right into it, we're going to talk about the SMB customer Wi-Fi needs. So as of right now, if you are a small to medium business, or you own the small to medium business, or you even manage a small to medium business, and you may be a reseller or a value-added reseller, a consultant, or whatever you do, right now the SMB needs there's a growing demand for higher speeds with continuous stronger Wi-Fi connections. More and more devices are getting added to be a part of this Wi-Fi network, which is getting this demand of higher speeds and getting stronger Wi-Fi. Then you have better handling of different types of buildings and dense areas. In short, no dead zones. We want more concurrent users with the same reliable and constant Wi-Fi quality everywhere, whether we're really close to the main router or whether we're a couple hops away with a couple APs outside, we're still getting some really, really constant, great Wi-Fi. Also, the SMB customers, they want an easier and instant setup, especially when you're going to have multiple access points. And we'll talk about that in the next slide, why. Then the next one is, of course, better security. It's no It's no question why customers want better security. Even the small to medium business customers, larger customers take very heavy precautions to make sure things are secure. But the little guys, the small to medium business companies out there, still need to have some sort of security, because if they're susceptible to it, if they get hacked and the information gets stolen, that's a very huge hit to them. That could possibly deem them to get them out of business. So there's always that security feature that they want to have, better separation between guests and admins and employees, with some increased privacy concerns and making sure everything's as secure as it can possibly be. So the next slide, when we talk about, here's the small medium business profile, if you will. So the reason why customers needed a easier and instant setup is for this exact reason. Businesses with very limited or zero IT staff, IT can be costly, and so small to medium businesses may not have the ability to pay a full-time engineer to take care of it, but they still need to have it taken care of. So who do they turn to? This is where the MSPs and VARs come in, because they can be supported by IT consultants or resellers or that MSP type people. And this is where NETGEAR, where our verticals are, where we like to focus on what really works really well. And the list could be pages long, but in short, a lot of people, I put some of these ones that maybe some people don't know of that we do really well in, and some people who know we do really well in. So things like manufacturing, libraries, law firms, any financial services, education. Not a lot of people know that we're in schools, and a lot of people do use our products for schools and colleges, even campuses. Home businesses, of course, NETGEAR is definitely known for their home routers, but when the business is at home and they need something a little bit more robust, bigger, stronger, we do that well. House of worship, churches, things like that, retailers, hospitality, and healthcare. So those are just some of the areas that NETGEAR really does we thrive in and we do really well in. So we're on to the next one. Let's talk about what is Wi-Fi 6. This can get pretty technical, so I might get a little bit technical, but I try my best to keep it simple. I know there are probably people who are watching this who might be IT people who are very technical, and people who are small medium business owners who know very little. So we'll kind of get that mixture. So what is Wi-Fi 6? In essence, it's the next generation of Wi-Fi. It's also known as AX. That's the standard because it's 802.11ax, and this comes after AC. It's funny when we were talking about AX, we all kind of, when I first saw, wireless AX, I was like, wireless AX? What's wireless AX? And it's wireless AX. So we kind of are moving away from the term, at least for NETGEAR side, hey X, we're going to just call it Wi-Fi 6. So there's no confusion on what that is. And Wi-Fi 5 is going to be the AC. So we're trying to change up these terms here. So if you hear AX and Wi-Fi 6, know that they're the same, and it's just the next continuation after AC. The Wi-Fi 6 has become much stronger, faster, better. As you can see, it's 40% faster based upon estimated testing than Wi-Fi 5, which is the Wave 2 AC. And right now it's for concurrent device support for faster throughput. There are already some devices that are already coming out with AX cards or AX Wi-Fi chips built inside them. So there's just some right there on the right side, the iPhone 11, 6E, Galaxy S10, and Note 10. Those are just some. And that list as of, probably right now, it's probably already outdated. As more and more things get introduced, more and more things get inputted, soon laptops are going to come standard with it. Soon tablets are going to be coming with it. But right now it's just kind of phones are kind of heavily taking that first leap. Now, concurrent devices is bigger than what it sounds. And it kind of ties in with this OFDMA. For anybody who really is dying to know what that is, I'll let you know. It's orthogonal frequency division multiple access. Don't worry, there's not going to be a test on that asks what that is, but pretty much what it means in the best analogy that I could give and think about of really what that is and what does that do and how does that help me, what does that do for me. And the way that I think of it is I think back in the past with AC, think of yourself as if you're in your car and you're on your way to the city to go to work, and you work in the city, and so you're on the freeway. Well, to get to you're on the freeway, to get to your destination, there's only a couple directions. There's going in and then there's coming out. And that's what AC is. Now, there's a lot of traffic, a lot of cars, a lot of congestion. It can get really slow. So what this OFDMA does is this actually takes that, instead of having that one way and one way out traffic, or even if there's multiple lanes going in and multiple lanes coming out, you're still only going one direction in and one direction out. OFDMA, what's great and awesome about that is it becomes a plane instead of a car. It becomes add a helicopter, add propellers to that car. Now all of a sudden, if you wanted to get to the city, how can you do it? You can fly, you can go through any direction. And which direction can you get there? You can go up, down, left, right, side to side, diagonal, any way you want to go to get to your destination. So then it opens up, okay, well, if everyone's flying and there's so many directions, then so many more can fit out there, right? So many more planes, if you will, or vehicles can get out there and get to the destination a lot faster and a lot more efficiently with less congestion. So that's what OFDMA is. It's great. That's kind of the biggest wow factor of what it's able to do. And that's kind of what this picture that you see at the top between Wi-Fi 5 and Wi-Fi 6. The Wi-Fi 6, you can have more devices on there without the congestion that you normally see. Wi-Fi 6 is also bidirectional MIMO, which just ultimately is better channel efficiency between the access points and clients. What's great about Wi-Fi 6 too as well is if you don't have a Wi-Fi 6 device yet, or if your laptops or computers or phones or tablets right now don't have that Wi-Fi 6 card built in, or that AX card, then it can still be backwards compatible with the Wi-Fi 5, with the AC. So you're not going to all of a sudden not be able to connect to the network if you upgrade it to Wi-Fi 6. You also get some improved power efficiency and longer battery life with Wi-Fi 6, which we'll talk a little bit later on. And then you have this 1024 QAM, and I'll kind of talk about that. That QAM, that's pronounced QAM. That was a good lesson for me. I thought CAM, but didn't know quite QAM. Didn't know what that was, but QAM. And so what does QAM really have to do? Again, the analogy that I like to give for QAM is think of your TVs. This might date myself a little bit, but I'll take it. Back in the day with projection TVs, think of a television set. And back in the TV with the projection TVs, I remember if I wanted to play some Nintendo as a kid, some Super Nintendo or an Atari, to go to channel 3. And back in the day, you had, 5 to maybe 10 channels, and that's really all that you really had. And the quality wasn't great, but that's what that was. Fast forward to now, imagine taking that same TV and getting an upgrade. And you're upgrading to a flat screen 8K TV with Dish Network or whoever, DirecTV or whatever. Now you have thousands and thousands of channels to go through, literally tons, and the quality is better. That's what QAM is. It just ultimately gives a better experience for the users. So this just is saying it has 40% more data bit rate over the 256 that was with the AC. So think of it as just a better quality and faster, stronger. It all kind of ties in together with QAM, and it just rocks. So go to the next slide here. The key implementation of Wi-Fi 6. So here's some more that kind of goes more into the Wi-Fi 6. Obviously, that 1024 is still there. The Wi-Fi 6 on the 2.4 gigahertz band, which we'll talk about. We'll touch back to that a little bit later. This is just kind of a recap. Is 300% higher throughput compared to 11N, which is the previous one to AC. And I'm not going to go through all of these. We just kind of talked a little bit about them. BSS coloring is like having more efficient and improved roads, if you will, is that analogy. Target wait time, which is a new thing as well to help improve power and efficiency. We talked about, we'll touch on that, is target wait time. The device will power itself down or not give it as much power as needed, and until it is needed, and it will say, hey, this is the time that everyone's in the office at 8 a.m. So 7:45, 7:50, we're going to start waking this up and start getting this thing going. And during the times that people aren't here, no one's utilizing it, we'll power it down. So that's what it helps with, improving power efficiency and lasting longer. And then WPA3 is just the next level of security. Gives it a little bit, quite a bit more secure for your network. So with all of these on here, all these benefits and all these great things, in short, when the customer has these needs, why switch to Wi-Fi 6? Overall, I mean, simply put, speed, you're going to get a much better speed per device, as well as total speed, even in high density areas. You're going to get better coverage, going to have more of a better range and signal penetration, and then device density. That's where, obviously more devices can connect, the more people are on the Wi-Fi. So let's just now we know about Wi-Fi 6. We know about the need of Wi-Fi 6 and what's out there for the SMBs and why they possibly will need Wi-Fi 6. Let's talk about NETGEAR's Wi-Fi 6, right? It's not just Wi-Fi 6, but it's NETGEAR's Wi-Fi 6. And let that term kind of stick, because we want that term we want to stand out. And so we did some changes. We did some things that made not just Wi-Fi 6 better by the standard, but we did some things that will improve overall the experience of Wi-Fi 6. So we'll kind of talk about some of these PowerPoints here. So why NETGEAR Wi-Fi 6? What does that mean? What does that do? First, you're going to get 2.5 gig of connectivity, which obviously is going to have better streaming and better conferencing, better collaboration. And that is a wired backhaul, so that means you will need a multi-gig switch. So now we're more traffic is passing through these with a higher demand, and these devices can handle that sort of traffic. What also makes NETGEAR very unique is both bands. The standard right now is Wi-Fi 6 just needs to be on one, and so most companies out there are implementing Wi-Fi 6 and implementing all those UFDMAs and ODFMAs and things like that on the 5, and leaving the 2.4 as is, which means that the 2.4 is actually going to be even slower than what it was because of all the traffic that's going to be implemented and the upgrades that are going to be happening. So NETGEAR wanted to take that a step further, and so both on the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz band, we are implementing Wi-Fi 6, which is very unique. And I'd be interested to see. So far, I've looked at the competitors out there and other people who are doing it, and I haven't found anybody yet. So they might have jumped ship and changed over, or they may need to catch up with NETGEAR. So then security, safe access, and secure subnetworks with client isolation, something that we do very well with NETGEAR's Insight Remote Cloud Management. That was the first presentation that I ever gave. If you don't know what that is or haven't seen that presentation, feel free to hop over to YouTube and look up NETGEAR's Insight. There's tons of great things about it, but it is a remote cloud management that you can manage all the Wi-Fi 6 devices and access points that you have with very easy configuration and very easy management. We also have a leading warranty out there. Our warranty is better than all the other competitors out there. And we also have the next business day replacement with 24/7 tech support. And that cost is not required. The hardware warranty comes with it, but if you want the tech support with the 24/7 tech support, that is available as an option. It is not required. And no, you don't have to go and read online forms or try to chat with somebody and hoping to get some sort of support. Like some competitors out there, you have somebody that you can call 24/7. NETGEAR is known for their home stuff. So in I believe 70% of the world's routers in the entire world are NETGEAR. So we know if there's anybody to trust with Wi-Fi, it's people 70% of the world who's already using it to know that it works, and we do it very well. So our devices and our Wi-Fi is used by millions of users in-home, both in-home and businesses. So we know our stuff, and we must be doing something right to be trusted by millions, by 70% of the world who obviously have access and use the internet, use some sort of NETGEAR device. And then finally, enterprise-grade networking. This is kind of the key. This is also kind of a key important thing, because most people, when they think of NETGEAR, they might think of home routers. And do I want to really trust my business into something that's a lot of companies do for just home stuff and just did a lot of home? In the ways of the past, I could see that being something a concern to think about. But fast forward to today, absolutely not. We are more than capable of handling some of the largest networks out there, upwards to not just even at 10 gig or 25 gig or 40 gig, but we do even have 100 gig switches that are out there that can be used for enterprise, and we are in data centers and things like that. So, and the key factor there too is at the right price. So you don't have to pay an enterprise price tag to get an enterprise level device. That's the wonderful thing. And even if you don't need the enterprise level, you want something medium business, we're still at that right price that we want to make sure that we're affordable to everybody out there. So why NETGEAR Wi-Fi 6? That is why. These are some of the reasons and the differences that set us apart, that we go above and beyond just your standard Wi-Fi 6 or standard warranties or standard business out there. Why NETGEAR's Wi-Fi 6 is going to be better than what you'll find.
Jordan,
I did
if I may,
at the end. Please.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. This is Rich. I'm the engineer with NETGEAR. I also want to point out here that the reason we're trying to coin this phrase NETGEAR Wi-Fi 6 is because the IEEE standard is just kind of a minimum standard, and so NETGEAR is trying to, in the case of the 2.5 gig gigabit Ethernet connectivity, the ports that are on it are also backwards compatible with gigabit. So not only are we doing what everybody else is doing, but we're also giving you the ability, if you have that multi-gigabit, to get a faster backhaul. Same with both bands. A lot of people say, well, why would I want to buy your stuff over XYZ competitor? Well, if you look at the true speeds and feeds, we offer it on both bands, where the competitor may not. And so there's little things that we're doing to kind of set ourselves apart, to really make us, really make a name for ourselves in what we do. So that's all I have. Back to you, Jordan.
Perfect. Kind of said it better. Thanks so much, Rich. And that's exactly right. So at the net, we're kind of reaching at the tail end of this presentation. I want to talk about when will NETGEAR start implementing. We've already started slowly implementing the Wi-Fi 6 on the home side, basically because there's more of a want than a need. And NETGEAR is proud to be a part of the gaming community and giving them the latest and fastest. But business is, as we all know, business is separate than home and requires a much different type of environment than your home. So they've started to feed us with some information about Wi-Fi 6, and in my experience, usually when they start feeding us some information, we haven't gotten any official dates passed down yet. It's a little bit above my pay grade, but in my experience with NETGEAR, when they usually start introducing us to stuff and they start telling us about stuff, within about 60 days or so, around that time, in my experience, is usually when they release the Wi-Fi 6 devices and access points. But we know these access points are going to be Insight managed, for the remote cloud managed, and we know that they're going to have these awesome, great, and amazing features. So be on the lookout. Watch NETGEAR's webpage. Watch Microcom's pages, because as soon as we have it ready to go, you bet they're going to be one of the first ones to be ready to have it and sell it. So keep an eye out on those. More to come within the next 60 days or so. And that is all that I have for here. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to some questions. Julie, back to you.
Thank you, Jordan, for that wonderful presentation. And yes, we do have some questions here for you. Let's start with the first one. Regarding Wi-Fi 6, did you mention this, or is it almost twice as fast as Wave 2 AC?
Rich, you want to take a stab at that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we start talking about wireless AC, AC is typically on the 5 gigahertz band, and an AC connection, a Wave 2, which there's 4 features that make it what it is: MIMO, 4x4 radios, and 160 megahertz bonded channel. Those 3 features can actually make a wireless AC 1.7 gigabit. And that's on the 5 gigahertz radio. The Wi-Fi 6 on the 2.4 typically starts out at about 1.2 gig. This is on the 2.4, and then when you jump to the 5 gigahertz, the wireless AX or Wi-Fi 6 start at about 2.4 gigabits per second, not to be confused with 2.4 gigahertz frequency channel. It's the frequency and the speed are both about the same. So is 2.4. So you're increasing from about 1.7 to 2.4. So it is a significant jump. And in the case of when you get into tri-band stuff, some of that stuff can even go up to as fast as, depending on how many spatial streams they have, um, upwards of almost 5 gigabits per second. So you can see that on our home products. We talk about a 4 spatial stream and a 6 spatial stream and an 8 spatial stream and even a 12 spatial stream. That's what's going to set apart the speed difference. Just like with the AC, we have 2x2, 3x3, and 4x4, which is 867, 1.3, and then 1.7. The AC goes like 2.4, 3.6, and 4.8. So the speeds are significantly faster with Wi-Fi 6.
Yeah, so it's not just solely relied upon difference of just AX and AC. AX will be faster, determining the amount of how much faster is going to be determined. There's a couple other factors that kind of go into how much faster based upon exactly like what you were just saying, Rich.
Thank you, Jordan and Rich, for that. Next question here for you. If a customer didn't buy the optional 24/7 support package, what type of support are they entitled to at that point?
Yeah, so I'll take a stab at it. I know this one pretty well. So all of our products, brand new, if you buy through a reputable dealer such as Microcom, they come with a 90-day free tech support already. So for the first 90 days, you get 24/7 tech support. That's not to be confused with the hardware warranty. Some people get that confused. The hardware warranties, if a port fails or the device just dies and isn't working, you can still call and get it taken care of. But the tech support is 90 days if you buy through companies such as Microcom or reputable sites. And then if you want more, that's the beauty. If you ever need more, you can say, hey, I'm not going to buy it until I need it. Or if you want to buy it just in case, you have that option as well too.
Excellent. Thank you, Jordan.
Jordan, I want to pipe in there as well. After the 90 days, if you need replacement or you need support on it, it falls back to either email or chat. But it is for the lifetime of the device.
Thank you, Rich. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next question here for you. What are the devices that NETGEAR has that are entitled to Wi-Fi 6? Is that something you can speak to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Rich, yeah.
One of the things that's really neat and interesting about NETGEAR, NETGEAR really follows the IEEE standard. I mean, we take what they offer and we do what we can to make it better. NETGEAR itself, we don't make any Wi-Fi 6 end devices. All we do is the access point and the ability. We pave the road for all your other devices. That's kind of our goal. So we don't make any end devices. We just provide the access points.
Thank you so much for that. Next question here for you. Do you have any plans of moving forward and upgrading your old models to Wi-Fi 6? Or did you already answer that?
No. So typically going forward, everything that we have, and part of that is hardware limitation, right? If the radio inside the device can't handle that kind of throughput, obviously we're not going to try and tear out the chipset to do that. And so we've always had like the WAC 7 series, which were the old hardware controller based access points. We then upgraded and moved into the Insight models, which were the WAC 5 series, so the 505, the 510, and the 540, and the 564. And then the new ones that will be coming out that Jordan has mentioned are going to be the WAC 6 series. And so there'll always be a distinction between them so that everybody knows very quickly that what they are and what category they fall into.
Thank you very much for that. Couple more questions here. Next one. We talked about the 24/7 support that one could buy and the first 90 days. What is generally the best way to reach out for support after that?
So when during your initial buy, if you're buying it, say through our partner here, like we have on the webinar, when you initially buy it, you can buy the support right up front as you buy it, and we offer it in 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year SKUs. Down the road, if a year into it and your pro support's expired, you can purchase another year. It's not we don't force it down you like some of our competitors do, but at any given time, if you want to talk to somebody on the phone, feel free to buy the pro support. It really is that easy. And when you buy the pro support, you're given an email and it has a phone number that's for you and for your product. And you basically, when you call in, you put in your serial number and it registers that. And that's a key piece too, is when you buy this hardware, if you are going to use pro support, the product does need to be registered. So when you buy it, be sure to register it.
Yeah, and the best time to when to buy, I mean, it's kind of subjective to who you're talking to, but in my opinion, when is the best time to buy it? The best time to buy it is when you buy the device. So that way, I've just seen a lot of times in instances where, I've got calls through, some of our pre-sale support lines will get some calls, and some people will accidentally get in this queue and say, I need help, my device is dead, and I need to talk to somebody right away, and they're kind of having to waste some time going through and trying to purchase pro support when that could be time possibly solving. It's kind of one of those, goes back to the saying, better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Thank you so much, you guys. Last question here for you. Can you tell us about NETGEAR's manufacturing and where it's manufactured?
Yeah, so most of our stuff, majority of our stuff is manufactured out in China. There are some that I believe, Rich, correct me if I'm wrong, there might be a couple in the Philippines or Singapore, somewhere around those areas. And then there are some even here that are actually assembled here in the U.S. I think like a lot of our ReadyNASs get assembled and put together when you buy them populated. Rich, did I miss anything, or is that pretty right?
That's exactly right. Yep.
Thank you, Jordan and Rich, for answering all of those questions for us today. And thank you to everyone attending today's webinar. And if anyone has any further questions, please feel free to contact your sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of the products mentioned or shown today, please visit us at www.microcom.us. And please remember, this webinar presentation has been recorded and will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel so you can view it again. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Rich. Appreciate all of your invaluable information and assistance today. Until next time, everybody have a fantastic day. Bye-bye now.